live streaming, YouTube, test, overview, Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, overview.
Guys have about 4 minutes left to finish up essay writing.
Overview, Google Chrome, live streaming. New tab, Google Chrome, YouTube. Accounts and sync, YouTube Chris, YouTube Chris 200, at gmail.com.
And then it's got this. Guys, I don't know what is playing, but it should not be playing. You should be working. Please don't make anything nasty about your phones. All right, let's bring it back in for essay writing. We're going to go over our National Assembly phase of the French Revolution packet together, so please make sure you have that out. Just kind of this. Yes. Oh, that is a good question. The question is, when is the Regents exam? The Regents exam for you guys is 2 weeks from Monday. 2 weeks from Monday. I believe it is the 18th. Yes.
So I got a question. So if you don't go like to summer school,
Mhm.
like they kick you out, right? From summer,
Yes.
but like you can still take that.
Yes. I would not advise that though. Because the point of making you guys come to summer school is because if you had learned everything that you need to know to pass the test, you would have passed it, right? So this is like prep time that you would help you pass. So if you don't come, you're not gonna have time. And you don't want to. Right? You can pass this test to graduate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions that you can answer about the exam? Okay, let's get going together. So first question in this packet says, complete the prompt below. By 1789, social, political, and economic issues in France had worsened. Below, make a list of the issues France experienced. Put in the document at least one social issue, meaning with the people, one political issue, meaning with the government, and one economic issue, meaning with money. So what's going on in the lead up to the French Revolution, socially, politically, and economically, that is frustrating people. You know, more than one, at least one for each column. Who can share what issues they remember or they know about that lead up to the French Revolution? Think everything is just great, and that's why people think better. Really, it's not great, right? So what's going on? It's not great. Yep. What war happened that the French participated in? Yes, the American Revolution against England, right? Why does France care who wins the American Revolution? Do you remember when I told you about France and England? They hate each other. Not anymore. They're better now. But for about 500 years, France and Great Britain hate each other. It comes down to a really, really long time ago during the Norman invasion of England. A very high-powered French duke, the Duke of Burgundy, comes over the channel and England claims England and becomes the king of England. So his brother was the king of France. His brother died with no heirs under traditional inheritance. That means that his brother, who is now the king of England, should have also been the king of France. France is like, we're not going to be one country, so they came up with a different king. Okay? So for a very long time, England says we are technically the rightful kings of France and England, and France is like, yeah, that's you can't run a country. So they hate each other for a very, very long time because of this. So when America decides they don't want to be part of Britain anymore, France is like, this is our chance to England a little bit more. So they sent soldiers and ships and money to America just to piss England off a little bit. Okay? It works in the case that France is involved. Okay? So they've been fighting a war. What do we know about how expensive wars are? Very. In 1789, we don't have planes, we don't have gas-powered ships. France is sending food, soldiers, weapons, and ships by ship across the ocean, powered by wind. Very expensive, not very effective. Okay? So war takes a toll on their finances. What else is wrong with the finances of France? Who's paying taxes? The commoners. Are the rich people paying taxes? Zero taxes, okay? 100% of the taxes are being paid by the commoners, which are what estate? The third estate, very good. 100% of taxes being paid by people in the third estate. The richest people, the kings, the nobles, the church, not paying any taxes. Okay? So if you don't have a lot of tax income and you're spending it on very expensive things like war, you're spending it on expensive things like the palace of Versailles. So I gave you guys some pictures and a video of Versailles. They literally plated the walls with gold. Okay? So the king is living it up with his homies out in Versailles. People in Paris are starving to death. The crops are failing, they have no money because their taxes are so high. Okay? So people are hungry, the king's living it up. Okay? Do you think that the people are okay with the king living like that and having all the power? No, right? What's it called when the king has all the power? Is one of those vocab words I told you to come and know. Starts with an A. Absolute monarchy. Okay, put that in your political issue column. Absolute monarchy. Okay? So absolute meaning all, monarch meaning king. So all powerful king. Okay? The king can walk up to you and say, Bertha, I don't like you today. I'm going to throw you in the wall. I'm going to cut your fingernails off because I don't like you today. Because the people have no rights and the king has all the power. So related, both of those other columns are social issues, right? We've had crop failures, people don't have money, so they are hungry, right? Hunger is a very big social problem. Disease, lots of problems. Hunger, money, disease. That's not the country you want to live in? No. And we get to the point that the French people don't want to live in that country anymore either. Okay? And that's how we get to the first phase of the French Revolution, which is not violent. Okay, so people tend to hear the word revolution and they think violent. Okay? So the first phase of the French Revolution is peaceful and political. That's going to change dramatically. As we get going, but we're not going that. Okay? So during the national assembly stage of the French Revolution, 3 actions were taken to address issues in France. First, laws are passed that give people rights. Okay? That's a huge thing. Secondly, the people attacked the government. Okay? Basically, I talked about a little bit earlier this week, that's a prison, that's where the king sends his enemies, anyone who perceives to be annoying or frustrating to him, given the day. Then you they torture you, they might imprison you for the rest of your life. It's a terrible place. So people go to the Bastille and they tear it down with their bare hands. Because it's a sign of the king's spirit. We're not letting you do that to us anymore. We're going to tear down the prison. Okay? And then they mark to the palace of the time that there is places to go walls I told you about, where the king is pulled up straight in front of the people. Okay? We drag him back to Paris and say, you're going to be with us, and we're going to come up with a better way to live. Okay? So, we're to May 1785. That's when the Estates General is called by the king. Okay? So the Estates General is a meeting where representatives from each of the French estates, so the clergy in the first estate, the nobility in the second estate, the commoners in the third estate, they all get together. Okay? The Estates General had not met since about 1614, so 107 years since they had last met. And that's because the Estates General was not allowed to meet unless the king said he could. Okay? Again, because he is an absolute monarch, the only way they can do is if he says that you can. So in May 1789, the king, Louis XVI, called for 3 estates. He says, we're having problems, you guys. We gotta do something about this, right? The broke people are starving, and everyone is talking about chopping my head off. I don't want that to happen. So let's see, for the first time in 107 years. Okay? At the Estates General, each estate only has 1 vote. Okay? What percentage of the population is the third estate? We talked about this. What percent of the population is the third estate? Do you remember this number? It's about 98% of the population. So the vast majority of people belong to the third estate. They have one vote. Okay? The first estate, or the clergy, which is less than 1% of the population, about 5.5% of the population has one vote. And the nobility, were about 1.5% of the population have one vote. Is that fair? No. Right? If you are 97, 98% of the population, you should have more voice than the people who are less than 1% of the population. That's just democracy, right? But democracy does not exist in France. Okay? So the third estate will say, well, we're not going to get a fair shake. Everybody knows the nobles have to pay taxes, the church needs to pay taxes. But if you are a rich priest or a rich duke, are you going to who's taxing me with my money? No, no one actually likes to pay taxes, right? You don't want people to take your money. So the third estate says we're not going to get equal representation there, and you're not going to do what needs to be done. So because the third estate fears that they're going to be ruled and voted, they break away and they form something called the National Assembly. Okay? So you need to know these two terms, the National Assembly, the Estates General. I wrote them in your definitions so that you have to please highlight them, underline them, whatever you need to make sure you know those terms. You must know that they're always on the reason. Okay? So they formed the National Assembly, that's in June of 1789. And when members of the National Assembly got to the chamber where they planned to meet on June 20th, 1789, they found that the king had sent soldiers to walk and guard the door. They think the king is going to attack them for forming the National Assembly. That's a legitimate fear. Again, he tortured people all the time. Okay? Well, they find a nearby tennis court and they think what's called the tennis court oath. Okay? In the oath, they promise they're not going to disband until they create a new national constitution or a document that describes how the government is going to operate. That would create a government that limited the power of the king and gave the people more rules. Attempted to force the National Assembly this year, however, they refused, so the king had to recognize the National Assembly. Some people saw this recognition as a weakening of the king's power. Okay? So this is a big turning point in French history and the history of the world generally. Okay? It's one of the first times that people say, wow, we have power. Well, we are 98% of the population. We're not going to do anything. We're going to pry our fingernails off and take all of our money and starve our children. And the king is forced to say, okay, fine, because he realizes he can't win. It doesn't matter that actually the king. If 98% of people are sick of you, they will kick you out. Okay, so the king sort of sees the way along and says, fine, you can have your little legislative body. I will recognize it. That is a weakening of absolute power. Okay? They force the king to recognize the legislative body. Right? So based on what we just read, please answer questions 1, 2, and 3. So what was the Estates General? Why did the third estate form the National Assembly? So why did it come up with the Estates General and form the National Assembly? And then number 3, what was the result of the tennis court? What were they seem to do on the tennis court?
Rod Marchand, comment comedy and 317 visited legally videos legally News tab. Main landmark.
How about one more minute? Finish up those thoughts.
Please interruption. Mr. Wu, can you please come to the main office? Mr. Wu, please report to the main office. Thank you.
So who can tell me, what was the estates general? Who meets? Who's meeting? Yeah, so it's all three estates meeting. Someone tell me again, what are the three estates? Number one, clergy. Number two, nobility. Good. Number three, commoners. Very good. So it's all the estates coming together and meeting to try to figure out what to do. Okay? Why did the three estates break off from the estates general, from the National Assembly? Why did they decide to leave the estates general? How much power do they have? Yep, so they're 98% of the population. How many votes do they have? One vote, right? Yeah, so if you only have one vote, and so do the clergy, and so do the nobility, do you think that they're gonna be willing to raise taxes, move the wars, and do the things that need to be done? Okay, so the third estate says, you have not given us equal representation, you're not gonna be part of the estates general anymore, we're gonna go form the National Assembly. And the National Assembly takes the tennis court vote. What do they promise to do in the tennis court votes? So they're gonna be there until when? So they want to write. What are they gonna write? You're not gonna leave this tennis court, you're not gonna disband until when? Now, someone tells me to answer this question. We're not gonna disband until what?
They create a new national.
Yes. Exactly, yes. They're refusing to leave until they have a new national constitution. Okay, this is very important because up to this point, people do not have rights, okay? And that's the point of a constitution, is to say, this is what you have the right to do, this is what the government is gonna do for you, okay? So you're saying, we are not discriminating until we have a constitution. Very good. So for some reason, you guys blocked me from showing this video to you, which is literally just about history. So the links are all on Schoology. So if you can go watch this video, you don't have to watch it in 26.5 minutes and 31 minutes. It's like less than 5 minutes. We'll answer questions during that. Okay? But it's about the story of that prison that I just showed up last week. It doesn't exist anymore. It literally tore it down brick by brick. with their bare hands. So it doesn't exist anymore, but go ahead and answer those two questions, based on that, okay? So, the National Assembly by August has decided we need to start passing laws that protect people and sort of direct the way we want the government to work. Okay, so in August, the first thing that they do is they create a law that abolishes the feudal system. Okay, so this is really one of those words I told you have to know for the realistic exam. We talked about feudalism, we talked about empires. Does anyone remember what feudalism is?
French Revolution.
Okay, so if you don't remember this, I want you to write it down. I'm gonna tell you what it is, how you write it down. Okay, so feudalism is a system, an economic system of land management. So the king owns all the land, and he says, okay, the Duke of Burgundy, I'm gonna give you 1,000 acres of land, and in exchange for that 1,000 acres of land, you're going to give me all your loyalty, and if I need you, because I'm gonna go fight a war, you're gonna call up all the people who live on your land and give them fight. What do you think benefits from that system of land? The thing is noble, right? It certainly doesn't benefit the little farmers living on their land, right? Because they have to pay taxes for the education, they have to pay taxes to their employers, they have to pay taxes to the church, they have to own that piece of land. And if the king never takes the land away from the Duke of Normandy and gives it to the Duke of Aquitaine, they are now owned by the Duke of Aquitaine. It's almost like, right? You are connected to the land, and people can give you away if they give the land away. Right? So this does not benefit the people, the working people. Who is in the National Assembly? Is it nobles? Who's in the National Assembly? Which is which estate broke off from the Estates General and made the National Assembly? The third. Who's in the third estate? Commoners, right? So, the answer to this question, why might members of the National Assembly support abolishing the feudal system? Because it doesn't benefit anybody but rich, powerful people. And they're trying to benefit common people, like working class people, farmers, merchants, doctors, lawyers, not the king and not the nobles. Okay? The feudal system only benefits those people. It's also almost a form of freedom. They get rid of it. Just a few weeks later, they finally come up with the first Declaration of Rights in France. It's first ever Declaration of Rights of Common People. It's called the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen. So in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, which was adopted by the National Assembly in August 1789, the Declaration was prepared by the Marquis de Lafayette. This name probably sounds familiar. Does anybody here know Lafayette? Okay, your school is named after this person. Okay? And it's named after him because he was a very famous French general who came to America during the American Revolution and helped train soldiers to fight against the British. Okay? And while he's in America, he becomes very good friends with President Thomas Jefferson and a couple of other political leaders. And so when he goes back to the French Revolution, he's responsible for coming up with the sort of Declaration of Rights that's inspired by America. Okay? So the document identified the natural rights that is believed were granted to all people and becomes a document from the French Revolution. Who came up with the concept of natural rights? So we talk about enlightenment. What enlightened thinker says people coming to the world and make it free of natural rights? Said that. John Locke. John Locke. If you ever get stuck and you don't know the name of enlightened thinker, if they ever mention Thomas Jefferson, know that the answer to that question is John Locke. Because Thomas Jefferson, like most typical white This country would come up with no ideas, he stole that from John Locke. Stole those ideas from John Locke. The idea that people come into the world free with natural rights, also Thomas Jefferson, so he didn't actually believe this. He was inspired by God. So these are the most important things I think from the Declaration of the Rights of Man citizen and to come up in essay questions, okay, about enlightened thinking and revolution. So first, men are born and remain free and equal in life. Social distinctions may be founded only upon the general good. What do you think they mean by social distinctions? Yes. So they mean nobility, right? So the concept of nobility is your parents are noble and you're born, and therefore because your parents are noble, you are noble, and you are better than working class people. Okay? So if the Duke of Normandy had a child, and it's his firstborn son, that son would eventually become the next Duke of Normandy. Okay? So this document says if those social distinctions, like giving someone a noble title, don't serve the general good, we're not going to do that anymore. Do you think it serves the general good to have constant dukes and duchesses? No. Okay. So essentially, it's the remaking of the social structure. We're not going to have to do this. Okay? Second, the aim of all political association is the preservation of the natural and inalienable that insert into law rights of man. These rights are liberty, freedom, security, and resistance to oppression. So resisting to oppression, you get to be free, you get to own your own property, you get to be free to do whatever you like, as long as you're not listening to and you get to resist oppression. What that means is somebody like the king is treating you unfairly. This document says you get to resist that. Okay? You get to fight back against people like the king or the church treating you badly. Do whatever you want to do. He's going to treat you badly. Okay? 6. Law is the expression of the general will. Every citizen has a right to participate personally or through his representative in the foundation of law. It must be the same for all, whether it protects or punishes. So when you have an absolute monarch, do you get to vote? If an absolute monarch rules your country, do you get to vote? No, right? So they're saying every single person in France gets to vote, either personally or they get to elect someone to represent them. Okay? So this is the birth of representative government in France. Okay? 9, all persons are held innocent until they have been declared guilty. This is extremely important, again, because the king would just throw anybody who threatened him or that he didn't like in prison indefinitely. He could just imprison you for the rest of your life in the Bastille, and you would just rot there until you die. Okay? So this is really important. They're saying, we're not going to do that anymore. You have to be found guilty before someone can imprison you. Okay? Other than that, you're innocent. The free communication of ideas and opinions is one of the most precious rights of man. Every citizen may, accordingly, speak, write, and print with freedom, but shall be responsible for such abuses of freedom as shall be defined by law. So freedom of speech, press, you get to join any clubs you want, you get to do what you want. Okay? This is important because up to this point, it was illegal to criticize the king. You couldn't criticize the king with your buddy over a cup of coffee. You couldn't write anything bad about the king. You couldn't write anything bad about the queen. At one point, a cartoonist in Paris made a pornographic cartoon of the queen and disseminated it all over. And they disemboweled this guy alive. They cut his stomach open and ripped his guts out in front of a crowd.
He did what?
He drew like a pornographic cartoon of the queen. they implied she was a lesbian. And so the king had his stomach cut open, pulled his guts out while he was still alive in front of people, and burned his guts in front of him. Okay? So they are saying, you get to say whatever you want. You want to draw pornography about the queen, you go right ahead. Because no one's going to pull your guts out and burn them in front of you for having freedom of speech. Okay? You're allowed to do that now. Again, it's difficult to underestimate how much this is remaking France for common people. Okay? You get to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting people. Okay? So, what I would like you to do now is answer questions 7, 8, and 9. You're going to have to think back to our unit on enlightenment, okay? For questions 8, for just question 8, okay? So, reference back to these 3 or these 5 points right here for question 7. Then think about what enlightenment thinkers can you pull their ideas out of here? There's a bunch. Okay? So lots of influence from enlightened people in these points. So for number 7, tell me what the rights are. Number 8, which enlightened thinkers influenced those ideas? And then 9, which issues in France in the 1780s would have been addressed if the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen had been in place? Okay? So think about all the things we talked about, the way the king's behaving, the way taxation is happening, all those things. What might have been able to be fixed if they had the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen? Okay, that's going to take us to the end of class. We're going to pick up on Monday talking about the radical stage of the French Revolution. That's where heads are going to start coming up. Okay?
Okay.
So for this weekend, everybody, I have me for a minute. For this weekend, I want you to circle these 2 things. Okay? Your 2 tasks this weekend for this are to watch this 5 minutes about the French Revolution and the storming of the Bastille prison, and then to watch this short portion of this video, about 6 minutes, about the Women's March on Versailles, where a bunch of moms walk out to Versailles, about 10 miles outside of Paris, and they drag the king back to Paris. And they're like, you're going to listen about my kids who are starving today, okay? What are you doing for me this weekend? Watching the 2 videos, answering the questions just about the videos, okay? One more thing I want you to do this weekend for me. At least 20 minutes, everybody stop talking, 20 minutes of any task from your Regents checklist. We're the Regents checklist. If you don't remember where the Regents checklist is, let me show you real quick. So if you go to the homepage for our class, the Regents exam prep tool is the first link. I'll send you an email with it attached. Okay? It has links out to vocab cards, to videos, to things to read, to at least 20 minutes. And it's not very much, guys. A third of an hour. So watch those 2 short videos, less than 10 minutes altogether, and then 20 minutes of studying. Can we do that? Yeah. Excellent. I'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend. Don't eat until 12 hours.